Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Rogue Trader with me, Break It Down. Let's speak with Heinrix. A familiar figure turns to you. Heinrix van Calox, interrogator of the Order of Xenos, bows his head respectfully. Lord Captain. Honored interrogator, what a surprise. Did you perchance leave something in your cabin? Not at all, First Officer Versarian. I'm not in the habit of leaving a trail, but I thank you for your concern. We'll go with the formal option. Greetings, interrogator. What do I owe the pleasure of this latest visit? Only to our mutual duty to humanity. It is that duty that demands that I disturb your peace once more. I was able to contact my mentor and report the tragic events that transpired on Rykad Minoris. I also received some information from my agents regarding the movements and actions of enemies of humanity, including the Xenos that we're assuming were involved in the theft of the star. According to their findings, the threat now hangs over other worlds. This time yours, Lord Captain. Heinrix clears his throat and begins in a pointedly official tone. By the order of Lord Inquisitor Xavier Calcazar, whose duty is to stand sentinel over the Koronus Expanse, the rogue trader of House von Valancius is to take on board the agent of the Most Holy Inquisition and provide escort and support in deeds great and small that serve to safeguard the territories of the Imperium against its enemies. This decree is effective immediately upon announcement, and remains in effect until decided otherwise by His Excellency Calcazar. What exactly caused this need to rejoin my crew? The cause is the activity of humanity's enemies, including the cult of the Final Dawn. In my absence, the situation in the Koronus Expanse has changed. I have received an exhaustive report from my agents. This heresy has taken root in the region where the von Valancius worlds lie. You probably already know about the fate of the industrial world of Alpha Gamma. If not, then I'll share what details I know, but not here. Better to talk on board, where we will not be overheard. I can't really say no, can I? Heinrich studies you for a moment, then ever so slightly, as if not wanting anyone else to see, shakes his head. Let's get some clarification. Heinrix, would you mind translating the torrent of verbiage you just unleashed upon me? His mouth twists slightly. The Lord Inquisitor has deemed that my presence aboard your ship and in your retinue would be significantly more beneficial to the fight against heresy and evil than my return to my mentor's side. Our parting before our arrival in Footfall was premature. I, rogue trader Donald von Valancius, welcome the agent of the Golden Throne aboard my ship, and take on the responsibility of assisting him in the fight against the evil that threatens humanity. Heinrix gives a reserved nod, an answer befitting a righteous servant of the Emperor. If duty has brought you aboard the rogue trader's ship once more, then such is the Emperor's will. Welcome back, interrogator. Thank you, sister. It is an honor to be traveling with one of the blessed Adeptus Sororitas. The Inquisition? Donald, you never mentioned you socialize with such distinguished servants of the Emperor. I'll bet it takes someone truly remarkable to warrant such eminent and close attention. Jai lets out a laugh. Heinrich glances at her and tilts his head slightly. Mistress Haydari, ever since my first visit to Footfall, I've been hearing about your colleagues and personal talents. But I'm afraid your full name escapes me. Would you kindly refresh my memory? Laughter gets stuck in Jai's throat. He pales slightly, but still forces an apologetic smile. I don't mind, Shireen. Let my full name remain naught but a stray sound to you. Plain and uninteresting. Master Van Calox. Cassie's voice is brimming with genuine joy, which he immediately hides behind a facade of highborn primness. Since you're with us once more, I do hope you'll find time to finish our conversation about the literary works of Runhaller the Blessed. I'll make every effort, Lady Orselio. I must also deliver this to you. Heinrix pulls out a sealed letter. The Lord Inquisitor specified that the contents of this envelope are for your eyes only. I would ask you to read it as soon as you have the time. That is everything for the time being. Are you headed to the ship? Or do you still have business on footfall? Whatever the case, I can either wait for you on board or accompany you as part of your retinue. Goodbye, Cassia, and hello, Heinrix. Alright, let's go ahead and level him up. So as I mentioned before, he's going to be a melee-focused arch-militant, where Argenta is going to be a ranged version. I could see Reckless Rush being useful. Shield of the Emperor might be worth it too. It's only until the next turn, so maybe not. Yeah, let's do Reckless Rush. The Arch-Militant immediately gains movement points. If the Arch-Militant has stacks of versatility, those stacks are doubled until the end of the turn. But the Arch-Militant loses all stacks that were added at the end of the turn. Still, more movement is always welcome. Preferred targets would work well with my main character's debuff. And since he's melee, he should be right beside him, hopefully attacking the same enemy. Blood Haze could be good. Adaptability would also be good. Focal Point. Also a good option. Dismantle and Distract are both good options as well. Oh, I like this. If I get free movement points, I mean, why not? So as long as the Arch-Militant has stacks of versatility, Reckless Rush costs 0 action points. And if I start with Always Ready, then you just start combat with a free talent. Yeah, we'll grab that. And equipment. Because he's been out of the party for a little while. There's no penalty for having a ranged weapon equipped. See an Inquisitor using a last weapon. Also a plasma weapon, but he doesn't have proficiency in it yet. Let's go with that for now. And then other equipment. What do we have here? I think the Navy Swashbuckler's coat is universally better. The Reaper Cape is good for specific attacks. This coat grants the wearer plus 10% parry reduction and plus 5% armor penetration for melee attacks. And then he doesn't need the hit chance, since melee attacks have a 100% chance to hit. You just have to overcome their dodge chance. So I don't think that that's going to be optimal. Honestly, this is probably the best option. He's going to kill enemies pretty quickly. Oh, charge costs 1 less. That's a tough call. I'll give her this, even though we probably won't utilize it, but it wouldn't hurt to have in case we do end up using a medikit in combat.
Keep your wits about you.
Alright, back to the ship. I like how bulky my character looks. Lord Captain, the inspection of the ship's systems is complete. The tech priests are reporting the machine spirits are calm and satisfied. Everything is ready for onward travel. Except, there is an issue you must be made aware of. Cassie makes a quick, nervous gesture, adjusting the adornment over her third eye. I have been studying the records left by the vessel's previous navigator. I wanted to double-check the route to Dargonis, and discovered that it does not match the one recorded in the Atlas. It is more than a minor warp fluctuation. The route has been wiped out. It can no longer be used for traveling. To make matters worse, I started checking the paths from the Atlas, one after the other, and saw the same thing everywhere. The warp is roiling with an ominous storm, bursting with vivid and screaming colors. It will not hinder our movement, but all previous knowledge is now utterly useless. How convenient. Argenta angrily chops the air with the side of her palm. Warp storms are our enemies, just like heretics and demons. It is a shame they can't be dispersed with a flamer or a bolter. Now we can be certain that problems with astropathic communication and the Koronus Expanse are no coincidence. There's a warp disturbance in your way, Lord Captain. It is swallowing messages and disrupting familiar routes. That means you need to locate the key worlds of the Von Valancius Protectorate as soon as possible. I'm talking about Janus, Dargonis, and Kiava Gamma. Charting new routes so they can be reached and restoring control will be the necessary next step. What would the consequences of losing contact with these worlds be? A world deprived of connection to its neighboring systems and the Koronus Expanse's infrastructure can only rely on itself, and their capabilities are often limited. For example, Janus does not have a fleet of its own. Pirates, cultists, heretics, xenos, anyone could prey on the helpless planet. The loss of communication is a threat to your position. A rogue trader with no protectorate to back them is one that grows weaker by the day. The Voxmaster is entirely correct. You are rogue trader Donald von Valancius, the successor to Theodora von Valancius, one of the most influential women this side of the Maw. You're also new to the business of governing. Many will doubt your competence and try to carve up your protectorate so they can snatch a piece for themselves. It is important to show your potential allies and foes that you're in control of the situation, which is why the sooner we reclaim these lost worlds, the better. Tell me about Janus. The surface of Janus was altered extensively so the planet could be designated an agri-world. It is a powerful food base, capable of supplying the burgeoning protectorate and exporting provisions to the outer worlds at the same time. Janus owes much of its prosperity to the governor House of Viat? Under its leadership, the world has grown ever more prosperous year after year, securing shipments and taxes while keeping the workforce tightly controlled. What is Kiava Gamma? Industrial world Kiava Gamma is being managed by the Governor House of Gaprak, and supplies your protectorate with rare mineral resources. Additionally, the planet features an Adeptus Mechanicus Manufactorum that processes materials and prepares them for shipment. I testify that Kiava Gamma is a world marked by the Omnisci's patronage. By his grace, the manufactorums of the colony are inhabited by committed and industrious machine spirits. Heinrix coughs quietly. Mistress Toloman neglected to mention that the Kiava Gamma Manufactorum also supplies heavy machinery from forge harvesters to vessel systems and components. Abelard turns his hard eyes on Heinrix. You display commendable knowledge of our world's manufacturing capability, Van Calox. Pleased to be of service. What do I need to know about Dargonus? Dargonus is the heart and soul of your protectorate. It is where the main administrative resources and storage facilities are. And so is the Von Valancius Palace. If you'd like to know, this is where you will publicly accept the title of Rogue Trader. Dargonus is a major administrative hub that runs the cargo fleet and keeps track of finances. Abelard, what is your opinion? Which world should we deal with first? Abelard strokes his beard for a few seconds before giving a hesitant reply. Rediscovering the agri-world will supply your protectorate with something none of your servants can do without: sustenance. The importance of basic supplies should not be underestimated. Just look at Footfall in its current pitiful state. Plus, we did promise Footfall food supplies, so getting access to Janus first may be our best course of action regardless. On the other hand, I am concerned by the rumors concerning Kiava Gamma. There have been no problems on Janus for many years, but something is very wrong with the industrial world right now. Delay may cost us the entire planet. Also a good point, but Janus is also undefended currently. We can always rebuild an industrial world, but we can't do that without food. So I think Janus is the most important planet. I trust I do not have to explain the capital world. Losing it would make us the laughingstock of the other dynasties. Besides, the loss of chronicles and ledgers would spell a bureaucratic catastrophe. So all three systems are equally vital to the Protectorate. It falls to you to decide which should be brought into the fold before the rest, Lord Captain. Very well, our course is clear. Do my officers have any other issues that require immediate attention? That is all, Lord Captain. The vessel and her crew await your instructions and are ready to depart Footfall immediately, should you so desire. Well, let's inquire with our companions. Adira's visions may give us insight on which planet we should go to first.
Lord Captain. Lord Cap...
And then Heinrix wanted to talk about Kiava Gamma. Alright, so he offers us these ship components so we can get A Voss pattern torpedo tube, or tubes. So torpedo tubes capable of firing 4 plasma torpedoes with 19 damage warheads. I'll take that. A Mazoa lance weapon. Long-range lance weapon dealing from 45 to 55 damage to a chosen enemy within a narrow firing arc, which we already have. Glimmer pattern void shield array provides 70 points of protection for each sector. This amount is doubled against enemy blast attacks. Alright, so it's 10 less general protection, but double against a specific type of attack. And then a Mars pattern prow battery. Short-range prow-mounted macro cannons which fire 4 shots, dealing 14 damage per shot. Alright, we'll take a look at those in a moment. What does he want? He wants Necron trophies. Okay. So I think Hieronymus had a few items that I really wanted, so I'm going to just kind of throw a bunch of stuff at him. Let's see. He likes the holy gifts and jewelry. Alright, let's try and get all the optimal stuff traded first, and then we'll see about just giving everything else to the Drusians. So holy gifts and heretic trophies. Then armor kits, 150 for him. A bayonet knife. When the wielder attacks with any ranged weapon at a 1-cell range, that attack also inflicts bleeding. Alright, we'll give him the armor kits. I'm pretty sure provisions are worth 100 for all of the factions. I'm pretty sure the only ones that really change are the ones at the top. The rest of them seem pretty consistent. So let's just go do that and get the Militant's Cloak. Where his first melee attack in combat can't be parried or dodged. And an Elite Chainsword. 14 to 17 damage is pretty solid. Give her the Elite Chainsword if I can find it. Do I want to give it to her or my main character? So, right now, we have this debuff effect on the Anvur Chainsword. Am I more worried about that or dealing damage? Probably damage, right? Then, do we have any hand flamers? We do. So I might give her the bayonet knife that we got. Now, if she uses this in melee, or the flamer, it also inflicts bleeding as well as burning. Alright, let's check in with Heinrix, because he wanted to talk about Kiava Gamma.
To what do I owe this visit?
Oh, you can just get rid of Adira. I want to discuss the Cult of the Final Dawn. What can you tell me about it?
The cult's ordinary members are humans who have been corrupted by the archenemy, traitors to the Imperium, and accomplices of chaos. Participation in the cult's rituals always entails brainwashing, literally and figuratively. The longer cult members spend among other cultists, the less critically they think, and the more closely they resemble obedient livestock, stripped of their fear and instinct for self-preservation. The worst of them go to their deaths without an inkling of doubt, ready to take hundreds and thousands of souls with them.
That sounds familiar, doesn't it? Not too dissimilar to the Imperium itself. The less critically they think, and the more closely they resemble obedient livestock, stripped of their fear and instinct for self-preservation. So maybe, yeah, I mean, that's... You see the parallels here.
As for those at the top of the cult's hierarchy, we have not yet managed to get a lead on all of the cult's leaders. I imagine that some of them are hiding in the depths of the Koronus Expanse, but those who are orchestrating the fanatics on nearby worlds are hiding very well indeed, or receiving protection from above.
Remind me, what is your mission regarding the cult?
I need to confirm the reports from my agents. According to them, one of the cult's leaders is in the Kiava Gamma segment, an industrial world within the dominion of the Von Valancius dynasty. I hope you won't impede my investigation.
What do you mean, protection from above?
Governors, commanders, rogue traders. History is full of those who neglect their duty to the Golden Throne and seek allies in the wrong places.
You seem to have been investigating this cult for some time.
We discovered the first traces of it as soon as we arrived in the Koronus Expanse. Since then, the more we learn, the better we see just how far the roots of this blight extend. Destroying individual cells is pointless. We must cut this beast off at its head.
Let's talk about something else.
As you wish.
You wanted to discuss the nature of your mission.
Yes, but not here. I wouldn't want our conversation to be gossip fodder on the bridge and in the officers' mess.
Now you put your sword away, buddy. We're all friends here. Heinrix nods slightly. Thank you for finding an opportunity to talk. I trust now would be a good time to explain the reason for my return aboard your ship. I welcome the chance to assist the Inquisition with its inquiries, Van Calox. Lord Captain, your enthusiasm is commendable. The interrogator smiles, but his eyes remain cold. To business then. The Cult of the Final Dawn. The madmen preach their heretical doctrine among the denizens of the Koronus Expanse, and instigate crimes against the throne and humanity. One such crime took place in your protectorate. The Lord Inquisitor considered it necessary to have one of his acolytes accompany the rogue trader on the voyage into the corrupted region. I also need to meet with one of my observers on the capital world of your domain. Why would Ordo Xenos agents investigate a chaos cult? You're well versed in how the Inquisition is organized, Donald. Yes. Initially, our arrival in the Koronus Expanse was dictated by the need to fight Xenos. But there is more. The cult is tangentially related to my main specialization. Perhaps I'll be able to reveal the full truth someday. Right now, I ask you to display humility and patience. A chaos cult in my protectorate. Heinrix, are you laying an accusation against my dynasty? Chaos treads softly, Donald. The main danger of secret cults and sects is that they are like seeds. They can remain in the ground for decades, safe from all scrutiny, till an opportunity to sprout, grow, and bear monstrous fruit presents itself. The emergence of a cult on one of the rogue traders' planets does not mean the dynasty head himself is a chaos worshipper. Having said that, it should be noted that Theodora von Valancius was famous for her loose interpretation of the freedoms granted by the warrant. Heinrix regards you with a probing look. A bloodline can be stained by ancestral transgressions. If it is indeed so, it is in your best interest to do whatever necessary to redeem yourself, and then perhaps you will get a chance to salvage your dynasty's reputation. Oh, that's right, I haven't read the letter yet. The Lord Inquisitor mentioned in his letter that he is willing to show lenience toward my actions that would otherwise be interpreted as radical. Heinrix nods. That is correct. I should show greater tolerance for the mistakes of a newly appointed rogue trader. To be frank, I'm surprised. The Lord Inquisitor is not the type to indulge the weakness of soul and mind, even in someone who only recently accepted the burden of a lofty title. You have spies on the Von Valancius worlds. The person I mentioned is not a spy, but a secretary in the Ministratum department on Dargonus. The planet's governor and Theodora were fully aware of his status. His duty is to fulfill the sacred oath to the Golden Throne and eliminate threats to the Imperium, which the Koronus Expanse has in abundance. His name is Achilles Scalander. As soon as we contact Dargonus, I'll introduce you as the new head of the dynasty. I am sure you will appreciate the presence of such an advisor among your subjects, and I suggest you heed his words at least occasionally. I want to know more about this cult of the Final Dawn. Chaos Worshippers. Most often, agents of the throne run into lone renegades stirring up the rabble, insane prophets and hysteric visionaries preaching the end of days, a passing comet, a mutant rebellion, an onslaught of monsters. Each time they come up with a new reason why people should prostrate themselves and quiver in fear. Much effort and the blood of those loyal to the Golden Throne were spent before we established a connection between those heretics. However, the cult of the Final Dawn is something greater than a gaggle of misguided seers and fortune-tellers. They cleverly spread their agents all over the Koronus Expanse, disseminating heresy among honest people on the Imperial worlds. There's a certain strategy to their actions that changes whenever we get too close. And finally, they have enough military power to have had the 2 ships that we had sent after them later discovered as wreckage. The growing difficulty in making warp jumps is detrimental to us, but is unlikely to inconvenience those who engage in vile sorcery day in, day out. Heinrix sighs. After the events on Rykad Minoris, I suspected the cult might have built its nest inside the Winterscale's domain, but the latest reports indicate it is your protectorate that is harboring heretics. Being in your entourage improves my chances of getting closer to their secrets. I've already agreed to give you a place aboard my ship. What else? The rogue trader should deliver me to the system that contains the industrial world of Owlcat Gamma. I'll then accompany you to the surface and determine what the cult is planning and how it intends to use the resources that have fallen into their clutches, which may very well include the blessed engines of the Adeptus Mechanicus and even the followers of the Omnissiah themselves. I will be frank. I'd rather you be Heinrix. The answer to this question is unlikely to please either of us. The machinations of chaos usually go beyond solely inflicting countless deaths and destruction. Having their plans come to fruition would lead to far more terrible consequences. One of the systems in the Koronus Expanse is already lost. May the Emperor protect us from watching this tragedy play out again. Why did your suspicion fall on Owlcat Gamma? Disjointed pieces of data that finally emerged into a single picture. Additionally, not long ago a vessel from that world arrived on Footfall. The reports from the crew were confused and alarming, making me fear a planet-wide rebellion. We met a Chaos Space Marine on Rykad Minoris. Do we risk running into his brothers? I have no doubt it will happen sooner or later, Donald. Chaos Marines siding with the cult is very, very bad news. Most likely they kept away until recently, pulling their puppet strings from a respectable distance. These traitors seldom show up alone. The best we can count on is having to deal with just a squad of Chaos Space Marines in the Koronus Expanse, and not an entire company. Or an entire legion. Because the Chaos Space Marines are still legions, they're not chapters. I won't let anyone throw their weight around on my worlds, be they servants of Chaos, Xenos, or heretics. A commendable aspiration for a person who holds the fates of billions of people and dozens of imperial worlds in his hands, which is why you need to be ever more vigilant when looking for seeds of corruption on your planets, lest they sprout someday and spell doom for whatever is tangled up in their roots. That is enough discussion about the archenemy servants. Tell me about the Drukhari who stole Rykad's son. Heinrix winces. The Drukhari, one of the branches of the Eldari, an ancient and vicious Xenos race. Those creatures are a living terror to ordinary people who fall prey to their raids, for the simple reason that the victims are not killed outright, but instead become their playthings. Just as you and I need air to survive, the Drukhari require psychic energy born from torment and pain, which they extract from their captives with uncanny expertise. Their ships, which are difficult to mistake for any other, arrive suddenly and undetected. Their stealth technologies greatly surpass the capabilities of standard Imperium augur arrays. The objective of their raids is never to capture a world or a ship. No, they're only interested in fresh victims. After filling their holds with living captives, they disappear into the webway, a different dimension which conceals their greatest stronghold, Gomorrah, the dark city of the Drukhari, from which none can hope to escape. Heinrich studies your expression. I do not know why the Drukhari stole Rykad's son, and brought about the fulfillment of the cult's prophecies. Perhaps the Xenos themselves have played into the archenemy's designs. Or perhaps Aurora's divinations, in fact, describe the Drukhari's actions. There's only one thing I can say with absolute certainty. There's no alliance between the cult of the Final Dawn and the Xenos. It is simply impossible. It should be impossible. But you never know. There might be a Drukhari in a high up position that got a little uppity. That was weird. My headset made a weird noise. I must go about my business. Is there anything else I need to know? Let me put it this way. You may think whatever you want of me, but my goal is not to hinder you. I'm here to help you in the fight against foes you may not even be aware of. You have my word that I'll provide every assistance in uprooting the heresy that has sprouted on the Von Valancius worlds while their master was away, and that I will try to be more patient with the less grievous flaws the bearers of the warrant are sometimes known to have. Heinrich inclines his head. Thank you for sparing the time, Lord Captain. Let's read this letter real quick. Alright, letter from Lord Inquisitor Xavier Calcazar. Very wordy. May the Emperor's faithful forever remain in the light of his favor. Let me first express my condolences on the tragic death of the most honorable Theodora von Valancius. Nevertheless, I was elated to learn that the word of the rogue traitor has been passed to a worthy and promising heir. These words are not hollow compliments, but rather the Inquisition's official opinion of your person. As fate would have it, you have taken the reins of the Von Valancius dynasty in an hour most dire, when grim portents of dark events to come are surfacing throughout the Koronus Expanse. I have been duty-bound to become the first sentinel who sees the approaching threat, and I hereby alert you that it is indeed coming. Our loyalty and resolve will be tested. People such as you and I will become the pillars that will unite the Emperor's frightened children and inspire them to fight back. And so I greet you as my dependable ally, and assure you of my favor. From now on, you have a trusted friend within the holy orders of the Emperor's Inquisition, and a receptive confidant on whom you can rely. So the dark times ahead require you to make questionable choices. I have no doubt that such an incident will be examined in an exceedingly temperate fashion that rolls out the most radical forms of judgment. I have faith in the success of our partnership, And thank you for your contribution, both past and future. Lord Inquisitor Xavier Calcazar. I got our first trophy. The Mask of Aurora, the prophet, the archenemy who foretold the final dawn on Rycat Minoris. Alright, so all of our personal trophies that we put in this room. Alright, I'm going to call it here. Next time, we're going to respec Jai and then talk to her. And speak with Adira and Cassia. Cassia about Jai and Adira about what we should do next. And see if we can decipher her riddles. But for now, thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.